Well, oh, excuse me for the frog in the voice. All right, well, welcome in, folks. It's been a while. Wow, feels like a lifetime. We are throwing a surprise stream. Dave Rendon, welcome in. Hawker, also welcome aboard, even though you're lurking. Appreciate you both in. Folks, we are going to have a blast, if you will, today. If you caught the opening logo, we're going to one of the most challenging airports in the world, Paro in Bhutan. It is a tricky approach, folks. It is an RNAV. It snakes its way through the Himalayas into the airport. So took me 6 times last time to finally actually get those wheels to touch on the runway. More importantly, into the gate. We are going to do it in proper form, flying Royal Bhutan Airlines. I just realized I got the wrong call sign. Well, the wrong airline code for the airline we're flying. That's okay. We'll make do with what we got. But anyway, folks, we are going to do this on VATSIM. We're going to fly in. We're going to do our best. Folks, it's a pretty, once we get airborne wheels up, 47 minutes-ish to the target, make our landing. Who knows? Maybe we'll head off then to another airport, back maybe to Dhaka, which is one of the other ports that feed into the Himalayas. A319 from Toliss sits on the line here, and it is a spectacular plane, folks. If you're into flying airliners, besides the free Zibo NX plane, highly recommend anything from Toliss. They are just spectacular at what they put on. They have the A340-600, 319, 320 Neo, 321, 321 Neo. So they are working to fill in the Airbus fleet. So again, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike, and we hope you enjoy the flight to one of the most challenging airports in the world, Paro in Bhutan. Great run. We're going to be in default scenery. We're going to start exploring this world called Orthos for X-Plane and see where that leads us. I haven't put any in yet, so what you'll see is default. So we will head up into the cockpit here, folks, and see what the flight entails for us. Besides the fact we already have a warning message. Oh, we have a mismatch. Oh, yeah, I would think we have a mismatch up there on our barometers. Well, let's see. What is the Kathmandu? Oh, by the way, yeah, we're in Kathmandu, folks, Nepal. Actually, the gateway to Mount Everest. And also, airports like Lukla, which rates up there with Paro in difficulty in landing. I'll leave you to find out why, uh, aside from the short runway. So, all right, so without further ado, folks, now we will be getting a commercial break here shortly. I just saw the message leave. So we're just going to go right into pre-brief, and my apologies if it does go to commercial. All right, and for the pre-brief, and by the way, yeah, we've been having a little bit of struggles here, so bear with me here. It's doing it right. Oh, no, it's not. There we go. Been having a little bit of latency going on here with my system. I don't know if it's just my computer being finicky or our internet provider not the greatest. So anyway, so there we are, Sim Toolkit. That's what we use for all of our pre-briefs, folks. It's free, just like Volanta. It just gives you more information, in my opinion. Well, may differ with that, especially with post-flight, when you try to figure out why did I screw up that landing so bad. It gives you a lot of great metrics and a visual. So that does help a lot of people. So this guy included. So, all right. so let's get into it, shall we? All right, first off, the weather here in Kathmandu, marginal. We have winds 100 at 3 knots, 6,000 on the visibility, that's meters, and I still have a hard time with that number. But the other number, it could be, I would have even more problems with. So, not a metrics guy. So, we got a few clouds around 1,500 feet. I think you saw that haziness there. It's 10 degrees Celsius out there, and the barometer sits at 10.22. Nothing significant here. So, according to this, we'll probably hit a rain shower somewhere along the way, even though it's clear skies all the way between here and there. Somehow the rain finds us. All right, Paro, where we're headed. 160 at 17, unlimited visibility, no sky conditions, so probably there's where we're going to get rain. It'll say that's rain. And it's 12 degrees there. All right, what is missing from this briefing here, folks? Oh, and it's 10:19 on the barometer. All right, what's missing from this? Well, let me clue you in if I can. Use SimBrief. All right, pull up our flight. All right, now you still don't see it here. We're going to start here at Kathmandu. Let's click on it, shall we? Altitude 4,395 feet above sea level. Ooh, high level departure. Again, same winds, same, pretty good TAF. So got drizzle later, actually a day or two from now. All right, over here at Paro, again, 4,400 feet above sea level in Kathmandu. In Paro, look at that. We're going in at 7,300 feet above sea level, folks. So we got high altitude flying both ends and no TAF. So hopefully that means X-plane can't figure out whether it's raining or not. Oh, no. Sorry, Austin. I do have to give it to you, though, because it's always raining somewhere along my flight, even in clear conditions. All right, so that's the thing missing here. And as you can see here, it'd be a lot easier if I wasn't locked in on the plane. I know I could unlock it, but this is the Himalayas, folks. We are right up against them both ends of the flight. So, matter of fact, we're in a little valley, if you will, here in Kathmandu. Loadout for the day. 115 brave souls signed their non-disclosure agreements, otherwise known as an NDA, to board my plane. We're going to have 25,300 pounds of payload. You see the zero fuel weight. We're going to be putting on almost, probably over 13,000 pounds of fuel. That's just the way the loader works, not, oh my gosh, no. That's just the way it works, folks. I can't actually put the specified amount on. So we've got a good flight. Our Dhaka is our alternate, hence why all the fuel. All right, and then as you've already seen on the chat room, the route, but it's Ingra 1D to KIMTI, Bravo 345 to TUMLI, SUBSU, TAKTI, Paro. Somewhere in here we get on the RNAV. I don't remember where, but we're going to enjoy. And cost index they gave us today, 30, and we're going to be flying at 29,000. I think that's pretty decent for this route. All right, folks, all I got to do is click on VATSIM. I'm going to go ahead and get us filed. And then we're going to get ready to rumble out of here. Actually, I think I do have the right code. Just didn't realize it. Do out it. 30 after the hour. Okay, I think we can make that. I know you guys are going to know we can't. All right, folks, so here we go. Let's get rid of Sim Toolkit and let's go fly with Mike. Well, I say there it goes. Let me go ahead and see if I can get that timer removed easily. There we go. All right, so we are in the cockpit, folks. We are powered up. We're on external power at this time. We just need to begin the checklist. So the checklist goes battery 1, battery 2. If it's dark, the switches, folks, on an Airbus, like you see most of them, they are in their either on or auto positions. They'll actually say the word on if you actually need to use them, or off in the case of our fuel pumps here. Okay, just to give you some background on Airbus technology. All right, so recorder ground controls on. Good CVR check. Cockpit voice recorder, external power's on. Let's do a battery check. Good deal and good deal. All right, so we're good on the batteries. All right, fuel pumps are off. Let's get the fuel loading, shall we? Now, one nice thing about ToLiss is your mechanical and attendant buttons here. So you can see I can control external power, chocks, low power, air, high pressure, or low pressure air, high pressure air. Wow, power. All stuck on one phrase. I can request de-icing. I'm going to go ahead and zero us out on cargo. One more will be at the fuel page. All right, so we said, come on, computer, get the gerbils fed. Come on. Yeah, I think it's the computer giving us troubles. It still had, there, it finally responded. Okay, so we're loading 12,944 pounds. We're going to click the doubles, maybe. Okay, there's 13. So now if I go back and do the actually they're plus signs. Go back. See, it goes in 200-foot or 200-pound increments. 13,000 pounds. That's close enough. And we're requesting fuel. Now, if we stick our head outside, look at this. ToLiss actually has really good ground stuff until it drives through the equipment. Okay. That part's not good, but, you know, at least it's something. I am going to go ahead and plug up. Now, you can do this also, folks, on the inside. I'm just doing it since I'm right here. And if you watch real carefully here, you're going to see the stabilizer bars go up before they back up, and they go down before they lift. Again, those are things I like. You all like certain things. Those are the kind of things I like in airplanes. If you're going to do it right. Don't just make them boop, disappear. Oh, I see our moderator decided to come unlurk for a second and chime in on how well the ToLiss ground service equipment drives. I'll keep the comment there. I know, that's not right. All right, so back to here. We're refueling. Now, you can also tell we're refueling. I hit the wrong button. You can see the numbers increasing. Okay? All right. And then, as I said, we can push back if we want with this. And we're back to that. Let's click that off. Let's put our passengers on board. And I can close the doors here. All right, again, what are we up to? 115, and then 2 on the minus. There we go. And load. All right, pretty simple, right? One more step to do here. Let's go to the EFB right here. Currently, it's set for how we loaded. So let's we'll get the right words out here. Reset. And now let's confirm our zero fuel weight. We need, that is not what we planned. Usually comes out right. Interesting. Okay, well, we are still zero fuel weight is, oh, is that right? Did I get the right number? Hang on. Time for that loose nut behind the wheel to double check his figures. I sure did. I copied the takeoff weight. All right, 115 to 48. That's close enough for me, folks. We're off by 100 pounds. I'm not going to get overly stressed over 100 pounds. Wow. And that's actually real close to our takeoff weight, so we're good. Center view, you'll see these numbers used again. All right, so we are now loaded. Maybe with more than just coffee and soda. Let's do a fire check for the APU. And I do the engines as well. Okay, good tests. All right, let's continue on. Okay, so with that fire check, we can fire up the APU. Come down to the middle. It'll switch over to the APU here in a second. And if it doesn't, you have that ability. It may not, because it actually does have a message. We'll get it cleared here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and clear the warnings off our dues. All right, flaps open. Start up the APU. And we'll wait. It only takes a few seconds, folks. Okay, 30 seconds to a minute, which is about what the real one does. And we're going to go ahead and let the flight attendants begin boarding the plane. And then from there, we will get hot and heavy into this checklist down to where we start loading that McDo. Boeing guys, you call them FMCs. While I'm here, I think I said 10. Just put 1028 in for now, so at least that warning goes away. But it took my APU as well. Okay, we're at 99, 100% available. Flaps open. Let's go up here. We're good to go. We're not going to turn the bleed on. Let's give it a bit to do its thing. So the cockpit lights and McDo's. All right, so the cockpit light settings are good. Here's one. The rest are two of them for the ECAMs, this one and this one, respectively here. And some more main panel, and pedestals, all here, all good. When you set them in ToLiss, that's how they'll reset when you start next time. That's a cool feature. Okay, one last light check to do, all of them. So let's light the Christmas tree up. Okay, everything looks lit up there. Do a little quick look over here. All the lights seem to be working, and down the pedestal. All right. That's always good, folks. So we're back to normal. I am going to go ahead and turn off the dome light. All right, let's get back down to the pedestal, shall we? Okay, speed brakes are down and the lever is down. Flaps 0 and 0. Your flap indication is right where my cursor is. Gear down, 3 green. All right, real quick up top, probe heat is auto, it's blank. As with the anti-ice, we're going to go ahead and set our pack flow to normal for the moment. We will switch it into high here momentarily. Where were we? And the bleed air coming on. I'm going to do a quick check here of the temperatures in the cabin. Okay, so we're a little chilly. We'll see how it's warming or cooling. It's warming. We'll leave it in auto. Okay, cross bleed is auto. Air conditioning temperatures we just checked. Generators 1 and 2. That's this switch, this switch. They're in fault because the big engines aren't running. External power now can be disabled. Ventilation, all looks good, no lights, and set properly. Electrical panel, all other lights are off. Okay, so we're going to move up here to the ADers, which is really IRS guys for those of you in the Boeings, and not that governmental agency. And we'll just go nav, make sure the on-bat comes on. When it goes out, go to IR2. IR3. Why we want to see on bat, folks, if we lose our generators on the big engines and when we fire the EPU up, that generator doesn't connect, it's still telling us navigational data. I also moved this display switch from position to status. And why? Because right here, it'll tell you 7 minutes to alignment. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? A few more things with the ADAR. Okay, so now, first, let's work our way up. Okay, we did our CVR check. Our lights are coming out as we align. We're captain per switch. All set. Now, from the middle, let's look at the lights. Yeah, we go up with Airbus. We don't go no, we just very simply go up the panels. So this big panel, we go up. So we start strobe lights, we put to auto. When we lift off and those landing gear struts extend, the strobe lights will come on if you're like me and you forget to sometimes turn them on getting on the runway. Okay, the rest of the lights can remain off here, except decide which one you want, nav 1, nav 2. All it's doing is a different set of lights out on the wingtips, so that if one bulb or 2 bulbs are burned out, you have still a safe airplane. APU's on. We've got our no smoking light lit, and we're going to go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. Working through here. Landing elevation 12 o'clock is auto. Probe heat, engine ice, we've already established is set properly. Pack flow, let's go to high now. We're working in a higher atmosphere, so let's give it as much from our packs as possible. If we need all the power possible on this plane, we can turn the packs physically off here and here to get even more out of the engines, because it's not having to siphon some of that into the packs to do what it does for pressurization and cooling and heating. Okay, fuel pumps. Let's go ahead and turn those on now. And finally, we've already done the engine fire check, so let's go up this side. Wipers are off. Engine, these are your manual starts if you have to do that. And folks, there are a lot of times you'll do this. We will not be. Here's your ventilation. Again, all good. All good. Everything's looking like it should. Working our way up. The radio looks good. Three geared green down. Brake fans off. Auto brake not set. And let me release that. Okay. All right, and you can see now our TCAS indication has left. We'll get into this in a little bit, but the key, now granted, on the ground, this is important information to know, hey, you still got doors open. Yeah, that's right before pushback. After that, and the slides are armed, it's really, you think, a useless page, right? Right here is the pressure in the air tanks in the cockpit, specifically for pilot, co-pilot, in case of an emergency descent or operations where it's required, they have enough air. People in the back run off oxygen generators throughout the cabin. Up here, they physically have tanks. So it's telling you your PSI for those tanks. All right, radios, well, McDo's, they're powered up. And our radios, for now, are set properly. Now, there have been a lot of questions sent to me. My X-Pilot is not working. I'm going to do a quick talk about this. Hit me up to go on Discord. I work tomorrow, but and I'm busy Sunday, but Sunday night I might be able to come on. Monday we're going to be back on stream, so, but let me show you something. Make sure, first off, these are your microphone buttons. Make sure you are highlighted VO or COM 1. There. Okay. I just brought my X-Pilot up to help you. Also, make sure these knobs are speaker knobs. Make sure they're turned on, lit, and turned up. Okay? Now, to make sure you'll be able to talk with ATC. Oh, let me rephrase the no. That's how you will make sure you can communicate voice both sides. You to them, them to you, and both of you hear each other. Okay? Now, to keep the controller in his happy place, that green light you see here, it's over mode C. Make sure that is on. If it is not, the controller is not happy. Think of it this way. If mama ain't happy, no one ain't happy. If the controller ain't happy, no one's not happy. Trust me, I've been through this too many times with controllers, enough so that I stay off VATSIM through many sectors because of this. They get really too big for their britches sometimes. Anyway, to get this green light, especially like in ToLiss and a couple of other aircraft, you may have to do a couple things with your onboard transponder. By saying auto in flight factor does not mean it's on, even though by definition auto is, it automatically will go on and automatically will go off. That's the definition. Turn it on. Even though you saw it stayed green, turn it on. Next, turn it to E. Let me zoom in so you can see the wording. Anything usually that's standby and sometimes exponder. In this aircraft, you can get away with altitude reporting off. And see how the green light, oh, I just upset a controller. He is going crazy. Oh, he just calmed down. You could have fun with him. Anyway, you never heard that from Flying with Mike. But anyway, and technically, I guess you could fly the whole flight that way, and they wouldn't know. Anyway, that's how that works. Now, if you're having connection issues with speakers and headsets and all of that, there could be a lot more at work there than just X-plane, or X-pilot, or what. So that could get more complicated. But that should help you make sure you get connected and keep our goal as pilots are to keep the controllers calm. Zen, I think, is one of the words. Anyway, enough on that. So as you see, I've taken it away. But our radios and transponders are set. Okay, so let's move on to the fun part. Everybody comes in here to learn. How do we plan this McDo? Especially with all the newfangled stuff. First, get it to where I like it. To include the other one. Believe it or not, I do use both. And if you don't, shame on you, because it can really help. Okay. All right, so first thing we want to do, look right here on the data. It's basically the data aircraft status page. Make sure you got the right engines, which we do. Your nav data up to date. Got till the 27th of this month, folks, before the next update. Okay. Now, let's get into it. Now, if you have set this flight plan up with SemBrief, and if you don't have SemBrief, shame on you. It's free, folks. All you have to do is register. Once registered, logged in, put some of the planes you use in the aircraft database, because it'll help later on pre-programming some things on the forms. Technically is not required, but it will fill it in to be more realistic, like many of us out here like to fly as real as possible. Anyway, so once you generate your flight plan, you don't have to go through routing it. Hang on a second, folks. So, just relayed a message to the CEO. So, it doesn't require you to save it anywhere. It just pulls from it because you set it up in plugins, ToLiss, Open ICS. Now, this is really I'm sorry, let me rephrase what I'm saying. This are much condensed versions of just this tab. This is the whole kit and caboodle. From your aircraft, you could actually set your engine types, wing type, blah, blah, blah. Loading, you could load it here. Ground services, well, we were just there. Faults. Here's where you would set up your SemBrief number ID, and it tells you how to find it in the manual and what these will do for you. If you are wanting to use the Hoppy CPDLC login to talk to ATC through ACARS in the FMC, tells you how to do that and where to find the login for it. So, and then your ADA source being VATSIM or Pilot's Edge, then you just save. And then, of course, joysticks and every other thing. Currently, we are 1.9.2 with regard to the version of the A319 we're flying. But anyway, that's how you would set it up. So, once that's set up, just the SemBrief part, all you have to do is click Init Request. Wait a couple seconds. Everything will fill in. All right. We are about out of time, so let's click align, and it aligned already. Had I got in here quicker, I could have updated our position to the gate, or gates, depending how the charting is. Okay, so you can see there's our lat lawn. Everything set up. I don't know if this is the correct tropo. Find out. And then you can actually update your winds right here. Don't know if these two steps were in the real planes. However, I do know, if you go to data, function one more time. There's your init, there's your takeoff data, there's your wind. We'll get that when we get to the performance page. All right, next up, we're gonna head straight to flight plan. And look, it's already loaded. Isn't that amazing? I'm gonna slide this over. Okay, and then bring in charts. Why? So we can actually see what we're programming. What's my charts program? Did I have it minimized? I certainly did. All right, so here is the route, folks. Kathmandu, Paro. Now let's zoom in on this segment. All right, first thing, this is charts. Now this is payware, folks. If you pay that come the 27th of December, you update your FMCs through Navgraph. Okay, that's a pay service to be able to do that. You can add a little bit higher subscription price to get this program called Navgraph Charts. What Navgraph Charts does is give you the world of charts right there, instead of having to hunt back and hope this VATSIM center or this one or that one has the charting. Some don't. Some are very particular. I think you have to pay for them, is probably why. Here, you've already paid for them in that subscription, and they're Jepson charts, which if you're in aviation, you know that is a high quality chart. Sorry, Hawker, better than the FAA. But they've had some neat features added, like overlays. You can put in the weather. You can put in, here's your overlays. I can put on the weather. I can, wait a minute, what's the one I always use? Here we go. I can put the route. I can get rid of it or put it up top. The weather I can overlay, which I don't think there is any here, so it won't matter. Telemetry down at the bottom. So a lot of stuff, plus of course zeroing in. Now it has METARs and, if it's available, ATIS. ATIS is a 24-hour broadcast of the local weather, airport conditions at where you're at or going to. So say you're going from Kathmandu to Berlin. I don't even know if, how about we make sure, Frankfurt. I'll lay odds there's a flight to Frankfurt, okay? You, in the real world, would call up the ATS, the ATIS, sorry, on your radio. Well, if it's available, you could call up Frankfurt. Also, and get what's going on in Frankfurt. How are the runways? Because it's winter time. You know what happens in winter. I don't like using that word, folks. But it's 4 letters, starts with S and ends in now. So, and they'll tell you the runway conditions as reported in their country's way of doing it. So, really cool that we can pull that up. Now, it's not here because they're not digital. So, we'd have to get it off the radio. But I've got the METAR, which is 31 minutes old, MVFR conditions, variable winds, 6,050. I think it's pretty much what we read off earlier. So we know what we've selected for a runway, runway 2, so we're going to the north. If you don't believe me, runway 2. So we're going to travel to the north. It's a 10,000 foot runway. So we can begin to start filling in our departure. All of that to say that, but that's what this program can do for you. Let alone you can actually plan your flight out on it. But I do it through SimBrief and import it. Okay, so you can see currently where we're parked. Hang on a second. Let's go to our departure. First off, our departure is an RNAP area departure. RF required. 4,095 feet above sea level. Okay. Pretty intense. All right, so we're going to fly, we said, the Ingress. Hang on. Ingrid 1 Delta. Okay, which one is the 1 Delta? Looks like this one. So we're going to come off 802, 804, 806, 820, 822 Ingress, right on out to our KIMTI. Okay, so you see the routing over here real quick. Look at that. MSA, 28,000 feet, folks. 10,000 feet, 11,000. Folks, means you better be climbing. So expect, when you see those things, that can also trigger your mind, believe it or not, just letting her accelerate to 250 doesn't necessarily give you the best climbing. Okay, that's where VX, VY come in. Private pilots, I just use great language for you, in getting you up higher. Sometimes slower gets you higher faster. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But I can already tell you, you can see there are speed restrictions. So we'll take off, K14, make our turn at 802, 804. By 806, we can't be faster than 220 because, and that may mean we have to keep flaps out, which will also help us get up higher quicker. Again, minimum safe altitudes, folks. You have 16,700 here. They're calling, as long as we're 11,800, we're okay. 8,000 up here, and so forth, as you can see on this chart. That's what this is for, folks. We're going to have to get up quickly. Once we get above, we're able to then level off and start, oogly woogly. All right, so 1 Delta. So we click the airport, departure, runway 2. Then we look for INGRA, just like it says over here. INGRA, IGIR 1 Delta. Click it. So you can see runway 2, INGRA 1D, headed for KIMTI. So we actually do have a transition here. Europe most of the time does not. This would have been the name of it. So we've got runway 2. That's the way we're going. And this is where we transition off onto our main route. Insert. All right. Now, I am going to switch this to plan. Dial down. And let's take a look to make sure we don't have a discontinuity. Using the up or down arrow. Everything's looking good. Okay. And here comes KIMTI. TUMLI. Okay, TUMLI is actually on our route. Then we have SUBSU. And that's when we begin looking at getting into here. It looks like PRO may be the start of our RNAV. We're going to set this up, folks. As you can tell, down here it's going to tell us it's 218 miles away. So we need to have everything programmed. If they have a change, we will have to find a place to hold, make the change, make the brief, and do all that good stuff. Okay, so let's keep going, looking for discontinuities. There's the big one, because there's our airport and there's no line to it. Okay. And that's where we are on our chart. Now, again, this is where charts can come in handy. Notice there's arrivals, but SimBrief didn't put one in there for us. Let's just take a look at them. And ultimately, none of them work for us. Okay, that's SUBSU could, but we're not. So let's keep that in the back of our mind that we may have to use this or something. But we can look at our approaches for runway 15. Look at this. We're going to have to fly. We're not going to be able to fly from Pro. So what I'll do is take us from TAKTI and we'll enter from PR 777. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here and do a quick edit. And now you see how it works here. So we'll come off TAKTI to 777, fly the route as you see it here around it. This is just a down and dirty look at it from a high altitude chart. Wondering why it didn't load it. Oh, let's see why. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it down here. See, I can bookmark them. Okay, so we're going to come in from PR 777 and fly the route. So let's do our arrival over here. And we're doing RNAV Zulu. Really don't like that it's not telling me. Okay, here it is. RNAV Zulu 15 and 30. See how it works when you come in on 33? You can see we're following a river for the most part into Paro that way. So you get an idea of what we're. Look at the size of these mountains around us, folks. That's why it's challenging. All right, so RNAV 15. No. And we're going to come in on PR 777. Okay, so as you read it here, approach will be coming in on the RNAV Zulu, starting at 777, and there's no star for us. Insert. And I'm going to go ahead and clear Pro. and clear the discontinuity and insert. There you have it, folks. So, PR 777, 848, 830, and you know there's requirements, 16,000 feet mandatory, 185. I'm going to have the gear down. Full flaps, or close to, at least flaps 3, because we're going to be at 145 by here where we can go full flaps and bring it in. Folks, we're coming down. This is an extreme approach, and that's why you treat them that way. And then let me just back off here so we can see it in its glory. 830. Okay, so let's go to the next one. 828, 8720, or wait, 826. Where's that at? There it is. 728's next. Get them up here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop it to 10 now, folks, because we're in so tight. All right, next up. 730, 799, 818. Okay. 816, 814. Okay, there we go. We can just see them all now. So 818, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8. 8 is right here. You were going to kind of do, if I remember this approach, an S-turn here to make the airport. There's a hill just high enough to make you have to kind of zigzag around it. So, as you can tell, you're going to be on the RNIP all the way. And now, we've got to the runway. Okay. Keep going. Here's the neat feature. Now it's got your missed approach. Okay, that's all airplanes do this. Okay, so if we go missed, gonna fly around Pro and back out here into a wide turnaround to do it again. Back to where we started. And then we decide, are we going to go the other way or are we going to do it again? But we continue on. Now we're leaving VQPR. We have a discontinuity. Why? Because this is the route to our alternate. So this is how we'll get out of here and fly to Dhaka. I think that's where we're headed. Let me look that up. I'm not 100% sure. What is it? VGEG. VG. Oh, I am way wrong. Shadowgram. It's on the coast, folks. Dhaka is that DAC we went around, so we're even going further, even more fuel. So yeah, we'll give you that in a minute. But that gets you all the way to there if we have to divert. So you don't get that, folks, with the Boeing programs. Even Zebo, none of them that I know of give you it that detailed. Lining things up. Okay, so that's our F plan, and it is set now. All right, this is the part that usually takes the longest in getting going, folks, because there is a lot going on. ToLiss, but if you're doing this without having to talk it through, boom, 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 you're done. Okay, let's go to the RadNav page since we have this done. Everything looks good. Back to the init, go to page D, which is 1 over, and we're going to verify our numbers. 153. Okay, we're going to have to adjust. 0.3. We go ahead and get rid of charts. Sorry about that. Okay, so you can see the zero fuel weight right here is 115.346. Round, folks. I'm rounding down. If it was 3.5 or higher, I'd go up. 28.6 zero fuel weight CGs, 28.6. Throw a slash, I think we'll get away with it. So that stayed. Block fuel 12.9. 12.9 works for me. Make sure your times look good. They do. From here we go to the infamous perf page. 2 ways to do this, folks. You have, actually, I use both. So take a little bit of time here, but not much. Winds 106 at 2. I'm still going north. Let's uplink takeoff data. And let's get the latest and greatest. Okay, variable at 2. Okay, that works. Temperature showing 9. As of 18 minutes ago. Okay, here's where it gets tricky. I really don't know if that's what the numbers are. So what I'll do is come out. This is why I've kept it. Oh, wait a minute, I've got to do this first. All right, so I'll come up here, switch it into inches of mercury. We are showing 15. Okay, that should be 1021. Okay. 30, 15. Oops. Runway's dry. Temperature 9. Keep the anti-ice off. CG's good. Now, what I like about this takeoff thing, I can check both flex with the 10,000 foot runway and toga. Your only choices with an Airbus. I'm going to go ahead and fill some of this in. Winds 106, diagonal 2. Now, if the runway was wet, snow covered, you can use the arrows to get to it. Takeoff data. All right. Okay. So here, I'm going to go with the air conditioning on. And you can then check that too, folks. Okay. On or off. Flex or toga. Flex on. Let's see what happens. We have 713 feet. Now, does that mean that's how much we're going to use to get airborne? No. That's just our stopping margin from the minimum 107 to the maximum 134. Kinda don't like that. So let's try toga. Oh, I like that better. 3,000 feet to stop. We'll do it. Adjusting a little bit too. Okay, so we'll do a toga takeoff. Probably 130, 130, 134-ish. We'll see how it works out over here. Okay, so receive takeoff data. 130, 130, 134. Thing looks good. Up one, and these two match, so we know we have good data. Green dot means flaps up. 202. And if we wanted to flex, click here. And then all we do is uplink. It is now in. Now, we can check the transition. I am going to check Black Box's site. Bear with me a second. Did I? Yeah, Black Box. Black Box's site is right here, folks. If you click into that, click over here, as soon as I find him, there he is. He is a real streamer. He just is in the process. I think I heard word he got qualified. Our moderator will hate this, in the 787. And this real world, folks, not sim. But like a lot of real world pilots, they enjoy flying here. And he doesn't have information here. But he has built that website. And if you fly in Europe and it's a airliner, good chance he'll have information for your thrust reduction, acceleration, and your engine out. Okay, we don't have it, and your transition, which I can get off the chart. 13,500, 13,500. Okay, folks, that's it. We are programmed into the McDo and ready to go. So again, because of all the talking, it does take longer to get the plane ready to roll. Let's come online. What am I today? DKR20 and A319. All right, and ACARS, get it up and running. Hopefully I set the flight up right. It'll tell me. Cool. All right. Smart Cars 3 is a little quirky with me. I don't know if it's an issue throughout, but anyway. Close that. Make sure that is not up. Folks, you ready to go fly with Mike? Because you know what? I'm tired of sitting on the ground. Let's get our butts in the air. Okay, flight. Let's do real quick. Flight directors on, LS on, constraints, both sides, arc 20. Actually, let's go 10 because of the nature of the departure. We'll go, we'll keep it 20. Arc and VOR, VOR. Okay. Now, dashes and dots mean managed. Managed means whatever is in the McDo, which comes off the onboard navigation and aircraft computers, that's what it's going to fly. Okay. Here, we got to set our initial altitudes. And we do not have one, so we are going to put 29,000. Double checking the chart just to make sure. Yep. Nothing on there. All right, they are set. Anti-skid. Hang on a second. While we're just wrapping up, let's go ahead and start closing the plane up. Okay. And we'll keep the main door open till we're done. All right, so anti-skid, that was good. Anti-skid, nose wheel steering's on. 3 green for the landing gear, and the gear lever is down. Folks, that means it is time to wake up and go fly with Mike. Switching panel is 12 o'clock, all switches up, and ACARS is running. I'm going to push this up a little bit to help me in seeing things I like to see. To update my computer here. It's not showing my flight plan. Okay, just do that. Okay. Finally, my computer has decided to put some brakes on. Bear with me as we try to get fired up here. Let's get the beacons on. Fuel's on. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close up the main door. Like how that fuel truck just got in the way. All right, we are ready for the pushback. Actually, would they? I want to take a look at this. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Would they actually? Yeah, I think they would. All right, so let's do it. Better pushback.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing. Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
All right, and as you heard, the tow is coming. To start this plane normally, folks, piece of cake. Hate to break it to you. You don't have to turn the packs off. You don't have, it's all automated, much like many of your corporate jets. So, here we go. Let's go ahead, pull the chocks. Because if you don't, you won't.
All right, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Cleared to connect. All right, folks, real quick taxi brief. You already know the departure. Here's the weather below. Weather here, still a few clouds at 1500, ceiling at 12,000, 9 degrees outside, and 1021. We're going to face south.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Come out.
Tow's connected,
Deco,
bypass pins
box
inserted.
deco,
Go and kill the parking brake and we're ready to go.
turn around, take off. Flying the Ingress. So we're going to go KT 414, 802, 804, 806, 820, 822 Ingress. No altitude restrictions, only have a speed restriction at KT 806, no faster than 220. High terrain to clear, we'll get into that in a moment. KT 940, KT 942, 944, 946 out to KIMTI. All right, talked about it, high terrain. To the south, 16,700, 28,400 to our due east and north. As we look at the MSA chart here, Within 50 miles, we need to be at or above 28,400 feet to the east. South is 11,800. Should we have to go west, we just need to be above 10,700. Okay. And climbing out of here will be approximately we need at least 500 to 800 feet a minute so that we can clear our obstacles. Any questions? No questions. We're pushing back, facing south. Brakes off.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
All right, folks, here we go. Headed to Paro. Okay, let's start the engines. All you got to do here, folks, your mode select, go to the right. You can only go one click to ignition start number 2. And then we'll watch them over here. Okay, we're available, so let's go for engine 1. All right, now when we get that word avail this time, we'll start the timer.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
And do our after takeoff checks. Okay, he's done, so brake set.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
Now, if you get distracted in the sim world and you miss the word avail up here, if this box is not gray, more than likely your engine is spooled up, done all it needs to do, and you're good to continue with your checks or start the next engine. Avail should be coming. Okay, go ahead and start the chrono and start our after takeoff. I'm sorry, after engine start. All right, so first thing, let's head up top.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the right.
Lead
Take
off.
it easy and have a safe flight.
Go ahead and arm the spoilers, set the flaps 1, I believe. Yep. Thanks for flying with Mike. All right, next up is pitch trim. Very easy to do here, folks. Click your FCTL button. That brings up all your flight controls, FCTL. And right there is your trim. You want it to match right here in verbiage. So it says up 4.4 That's what we're going to set it to. All right, at the same time now, folks, once I'm done there, I actually do my flight controls. It's actually a little later in this, but we're here. Why not? Make sure they center. You're making sure they move so that the gust locks are removed. They are in place, makes for a very bad flight. Okay, with that done, I put it back and deselect it. All right, I will be mute for just a few while I finish this up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the APU shut down, just so you know, turn my lapse time, done the flight controls, and we'll start taxiing. All right, folks, I thought she was going to come in with the vacuum cleaner, so I would mute. All right, so here we go. Taxi lights on. You can see that haze, fogginess. That's what's making it marginal here. We're going to actually be taxiing downhill if you haven't. The slopes are here, folks. Those of you that like Lukla or like STOL type aircraft, Dash 6 comes to mind, Dornier 228, I think it is. Lukla is an airport to try, folks. It will be on a slope. Hopefully the correct slope. Some of the slopes in X-Plane are really tough. All right. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Flight time to Paro, 47 minutes. Flight attendants, take your seats for departure. Okay, before takeoff check, chronos started. Not yet. We'll get that at the end of the runway. We'll bring the throttles up to 50 per wait correction. Transponder, TARA. Let's go ahead and get our radars on. Let's see, brake temperatures are good. Stop, sorry about that, folks. Engine mode as required, we'll leave it in ignition. And I'm gonna call for back taxi and takeoff. I do not see controller up at this time. Paro, or correction, Kathmandu traffic, Bhutan, Royale 20, back taxiing runway 2 for departure to Paro. Okay, here we go, folks. Lights are armed. Get them turned on at the end, but we do have takeoff on the nose gear. Plus, as you saw, we brought our strobes up. If you haven't paid attention to the nav display on the first officer side, that is terrain avoidance, terrain radar. A lot of red. All right, folks, I haven't mentioned this, but if you are a subscriber or one that likes to hand out biddies and all, there is a promotion running right now with Twitch. 25% off for the subscriptions, and they throw in some extra bits when you send bits out. So check them out while we do the back taxi. Okay, final checks here. Brake temps are acceptable. We're going to go ahead and put the brake fan on for safety. Predictive is not on. That is for wind shear. All right, we're getting here. Flaps are takeoff. Takeoff checks are complete. Turn off lights are on. The displace threshold. Get ourselves zeroed out here. Get my zero on the rudder trim. All right, we are ready to go. Kathmandu traffic, Royal, or Bhutan Royale 20, departing runway 2. Timer on. Go. Positive rate gear up. Because the nature of the departure, gears up. Brake fans off. Go into the initial turn. flaps out. Remember, we got to be under 220 until we clear 806, which is, I think, this one right here. We're already above most of the inside mountains here to Kathmandu, but got a lot more to get up. Kind of reminiscent to me of if any of you have flown out of the Bagram Air Base. Oh my gosh, you better be climbing hard through 25,000 feet. Otherwise, you're going to hit mountains that you don't even see. All right, so here we go into this turn. Okay, we're a mile and a half from 806, and then I will pull the flaps. Let's go ahead. Flaps up. Arm the spoilers. Disarm the spoilers. For 820. All right, folks, we are on our way to Paro, one of the most challenging approaches. All right, let's go ahead and get those lights off. And here we go. Now that we're above 12,000 feet, you can see we're accelerating up to 280. No speed restrictions now. All we got to worry about is making sure we stay under or above the MSA once we're above 20,000 feet. Okay, let's finish up the after takeoff lights are off, altitude coming up. Let's get back in here because that's coming. There it is. Let's go to standard. And lights are off. We're on our way, folks. Don't anticipate ATC, but you never know. Let the customers see what we've got out the window. Welcome to the Himalayas. All right, folks, we're back with you. Oh, we had some vacuuming going on here in the office, so I went silent and let you all enjoy the breathtaking views of the Himalayas. All right, let's talk the arrival, shall we? All right, so here, okay, we left the departure. Kind of see what we got ahead of us. Like I said, we got a little bit of a zigzaggy flight path through. You can kind of imagine Paro back in here. You're going to have to fly through all these little crevices and rivers, creeks and all to get in there, because that's what allows that route. Okay, so hang on, folks. Sorry, folks. All right, so that's how this is set up. This approach, real world, we're flying on the sim. Arnav Zulu. Okay, we already know we're gonna fly to. Hold on a second. TAKTI, however you want to say it. Okay, and then from there head to PR 777. Okay, that's where the RNAV starts. Okay, so here we go. At PR 777, we got to be at 16,000 feet, no faster than 185. Maximum speed 185, mandatory 16,000. As you can see, we got a lot of high terrain around us. Then we start in. And we start working our way in. Remember, we're going to a 7,400 foot sea level airport here. So we're going to work the PR 848, 830, 828, 826, 728. See how we're working this little river / creek, whatever it is, till we get to 18. Now, PR 799, 13,800 feet. Okay. Then PR 818 to 816, we just keep it at 13,800, but then we can't be any faster than 145. So from 790 to 816, we fully configure for landing. Then we're going to come in, cross over 814, and then we'll re-enter another riverbed, creek bed, however you want to call it, 812, 810, right into the airport. And don't be surprised if we kind of zigzag it for the runway because of a hill right there, if memory serves. Now that was X-Plane 11, don't know how X-Plane 12 is. Have not flown this in X-Plane 12 yet. All right, for this chart, it's an RNAV, so we don't have a frequency to turn. Final approach course be on our charts. Okay, so at 816, we have to be at 13,800 feet on the descent for the runway. RNIP 0.30 DA, refer, we'll see down at the middle. Again, we're 7,400 feet above sea level. If we go missed, it's climb to 16,000 on missed approach track to PR 777, and we'll hold or start a new approach. Okay, and here's the requirements. All right, we've been through this, and here we go. So from 816, we begin our 3.5 degree descent into the airport. 145 maximum. Get into our landing speeds in a minute. which will help us here. I'm guessing 130. So planning for 130 at about, let's call it 800 feet a minute. Okay, right about there. If the glide, well, there is no glide slope, so that's what we're going to have to. Now, for the minimums, both runways, that's how this is working. We are a Category C. You cannot be any bigger for this airport. Okay, granted, it's a sim. Do what you want. Just in the real world, you couldn't. Minimums are 10,320. Almost 3,000 feet above the ground. You got to be able to see it, folks, to be able to turn in 5,000 meters we have to have. All right, so there you have the charts. And finally, let's get the quick weather update as of, okay, granted, they don't have a METAR right now. So we're going to be basically flying in there blind. Last one 7 hours ago was 160 at 17, no significant clouds. 12,000 at least on the ceiling. We need at least 10,000, so hopefully that's right. 12 degrees. 1019, again, we really don't have any good information. If we have to go to our alternate, it is Chattagram in Bangladesh. All right, much further to top of descent. All right, we are on track to start descent, so stand by. Let's get over here real quick. All right, so we're going to go ahead and throw that information into it. Hang on a second. Even though we're going to go with what was on here. QNH 1019. Temperature 12. Winds 160. 17. Okay, and our DH again was 10,320. All right, this is MSL, so to me, that's how I read it. Above sea level, above ground level. Whichever one you choose. When you look at a chart, the bold numbers are above sea level, the bracketed are above ground. Okay, so we're programmed in. Go back to perf, and we are 37 miles out. Going with this information, we'll go medium on the brakes, computing. That's our margin. We'll take it. And it's saying the wind's coming at us. I'm going to go ahead. It said as of 4/6. This is as of 11, so we'll go with that. All right, so we got 160 at 17. 3009. Dry, anti-ice off, temperature 12. Computing again, brings it down. The approach 130. Okay, so everything looks good. Guess what, folks? We're ready to bring it in. Let me just make sure. All right, top of descent, 20 mile, should be right there. 16,000 to start it off. All right, folks, there's the format. If you want to put a prediction in, we are running Sim Toolkit. Whew. 30 minutes into flight, 23 minutes since, or 30 minutes since pushback, 24 minutes since brake release. I hate this part of flight because now I need to use the restroom and there really isn't much we can do. It's time to come down. But folks, you get to enjoy that. So, all right, so here we go. Let's get ready to rumble into Paro. Hopefully not rumble too hard. Okay, top of descent is about 10 miles out. I am going to go ahead and start a managed descent, and if we need to, steepen it. Okay, folks, we are beginning our approach. Remember, we'll have to slow up here at PR 777 to 180 knots. So we'll take over speed at that point. When we take over altitude control, heading control, which probably will have to be, well, we'll probably let it go automatic to where it'll take it to approach phase, because if you do it now, you'll have the aircraft slow down to F speed, which is like 147. I'd have to look at it. All right, so begun our descent. Transition level, we did not go over that here. Thank you. 18,000 feet, just like the US, folks. Let's make sure the McDo is set up that way. And it is. 128, 123 matches, looks good. And over here, see how I use them both? We should be 185. So theoretically, at this point right here, folks, it's going to slow us to 185. And we will put flaps out to help. One more look out there. And yes, folks, we are in the land of Mount Everest. Probably more back that way. That amazing? All that 28,000 foot to this flat land. I mean, we're right on that cusp. Just amazing. All right, now we're going to turn back into it. But you can now see how this approach works. You're going to basically fly a river so you can work the canyon and then miss it for just enough to clear a small peak and then come around into another riverbed to follow that in. Like I said, it's ultimately a visual approach, but because of the speed and what you got to do, you know, Just got to follow the magenta line. Or in this case, green line. We'll call it emerald. All right. So we have begun our descent, and we have begun to steepen so that we can make our first restriction up here PR. I'm going to go ahead and reduce. We need to be able to see traffic and stuff, so we'll keep it open. No traffic, and we'll announce at is it TAKI? What's the name of it? TAKTI. That we've entered the approach for 1.5. If I remember. But again, hope y'all are having a great week. As you saw, if you were on our Discord channel, the reason our 2 flights got canceled this week, I had to take that test again that I failed for work. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we passed it this time. Felt a little better about it, but you know how that goes. It's all in God's hands now. So we'll see tomorrow when I go to work. Hopefully I've got the results. Hopefully I'm not studying over Christmas to do it yet again. So, but anyway, that is why the flights were canceled. They will be Monday, will be St. Martin to Miami. Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll do the Fresno to St. Louis. So, just so you know what's coming. All right, we are now through just about 22,000. Let's get our head in the game and let's get ready to try to get this on the ground in Paro. Looks easy, folks. It really does. And you got to fly this thing. You almost got to let it fly it all the way until you can see the runway. That's where the tricky part comes in. There's a hill right there. If you ever get a chance, I'll try and get a video going on the ground of the real guys flying 1.5. Now, I have caught a couple flying in on 3.0. No. 3... be 3.3. And it looks a little simpler, but you're also maybe a little lower. I don't know, but or steeper on the approach. But anyway, we'll see how this looks. Okay, here we go. Speed brakes. As we begin our slowdown. At 2:30, just so you all know, in this plane, you can extend flaps 1. All right, so there's, go ahead and pull our speed brakes in. Okay, and flaps 1. Okay, we're going to also get our winds updated. I'm going to go function, go. All right, we are now at our speed and now making it come down to the altitude. Paro traffic, Bhutan, Royal Bhutan, over to K, entering the 15 RNAV for Paro. Okay, we are not descending. Guess what that means? We take over. Go to 13.8. Okay, 816. All right, here we go. We are high, so we're going to have to work this. Speed brakes. Now you see what we're flying, getting into. Then we'll loop down here, and then we cross over to come in. I think Paro's like over here, but anyway. Once we get to about right, probably 15, I'm trying to get an intermediate altitude, and I'm not. We're looking at okay, and at 816, which is right here, we'll set the speed dial. In fact, we can do that now. Okay. Did we call 3009 or 1019? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep her under 185. And then as we get around 730, I'm going to begin to slow down to 45. Okay, folks, I am going to kind of go quiet now, let you all enjoy. And one note, when we watched the video, they actually turned the GPWS off, because I guess it really starts barking at them at some point on one of the two approaches. let's go flaps 2, gear down. Bit formidable, isn't it, folks? Okay, we are fully configured for landing. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, arms spoiled. Okay, cleared to land. Paro traffic. Royal Bhutan just cleared PR 816. Final for runway 15, RNAV. Folks, this is where it throws me off. I feel like we're so high. And we are. There's the airport. there's the airport right there, folks. It's not set, I don't think, in the SIM to the chart. It's got it set up here. I'm going to fly it out 808. Doesn't say. And that's what throws me off all the time. We're right over the airport. Yet it's setting us up to go in here. That's Paro, folks. And as you can see, there's no, we have to drop. Okay, well, we're going to go around, so. All right, back up to 16. And that's where the problem lies in X-Plane. They've actually, if you look at this chart, Paro is not where it's supposed to be. They've got it about right here, folks. Trying to figure out what line. Okay, now we're, what I clicked. But anyway, they're showing it up here about 812. you're 13,000 getting down to 7, you realize what you got to do. You're literally going to have to do a spiral to come in. It's intense. And that's where X-Plane makes it rough. Now, I'll be honest, this is one of the few approaches I would like to see flown in Microsoft. See if they've got it positioned right. But X-Plane does not. Why are you not flying direct? I have no idea why it won't fly direct to this place. I'll be honest, I've actually never done a missed approach resetup. That's why. All right. You all can see what we're working with here. We're trying to circle back around. Why it wouldn't fly it, I don't know. Then we're going to try to go direct. looks like we're going to be doing a lot of work here because I can't figure out why it's not wanting to track. All right, time to get on course. All right, I will be quiet now through here, folks, while I try to figure out how we're going to come into Paro. set up for landing. Final checks, gear, spoilers. Gear down. Brake set, flap set, spoilers armed, flaps full. You guessed it, folks. We're hand flying it to try to make it come down this ridge. I personally am very hesitant to think it will.
Hundred above. Minimum.
I think we might have overflown here. If so, we head
Caution
to our
terrain. Caution terrain. Caution terrain. Caution terrain.
Sink rate.
coming up to where it should be, folks. If it's not there, we get to go around again. I'll be doggone, I see a runway.
1,000.
Good Lord. Don't think it's set up for this way.
Terrain.
500.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
400.
Pull up. Pull up.
300.
Pull up. Pull up.
200.
Pull up. Terrain. Terrain.
100.
Terrain. Terrain.
50. 40.
Terrain.
30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
The grass. Holy crap, folks. And now the Toliss where it gets a little squirrel. Holy mackerel. Okay, that is really probably not how this is supposed to be flown. Okay, do I take this taxiway or not? I'm more worried about landing than where I'm going. Oh, I can. Wait a minute. Is that here? I saw one taxi. Say 15. Paro traffic. We'll get out of your way here in a moment. We are clear of 15. All right, folks. Not a great approach. Not a great way to bring it in at 200 knots. Paro, we're clear of 15 to the ramp. Okay, I don't even want to know how bad that approach was. Actually, I can't believe that's my landing rate. I really foresaw a go around, folks. It is, I'm gonna hope, I'm gonna watch the replay on Twitch, YouTube later, that I did have it up for y'all. So can you all tell me how well, I'm sorry I did, how it looked on the chart? Because when we came in the first time, we were way too high. Anyway, my apologies again for the chart being in your way. We will try to rewatch that so you all can see it coming in from different angles. This is the problem in X-Plane 11. Not sure if you're coming around, and obviously I was so out of position to start with. This is not easy, folks. I don't know what it looks like in real life other than what I've seen from our friends who do it for real. That was horrible. I know it. But you don't drop that steep off that to make this. It's 13th. I'm going to take a look how far you got to go. It's a 3.5% grade. Maybe I'm the one that doesn't know what a 3.5% grade is. I'm looking at the chart again, folks. It's 9 miles to drop 2,000 feet. There, we got the parking brake finally set. Holy crap. Okay. We're just waiting on it. Let me see how badly we got to stand. Not too bad. What we'll do is can't. That's the moral of that story. Can't. All right, that's fine. APU's available. Okay. That was a horrible approach. Sometimes I think these ideas of flying into Paro are a good idea. Not today. All right, folks, we're in. And we're rolling forward? No. Anyway, gotta love hills. So, hang on just a second, folks. Sorry about that, folks. The sun was just tearing me apart in here to where I couldn't see half the things I was trying to do. All right, so let's get up here. Seatbelts are off, beacons off, and soon they'll start their little parade out there. All right, an hour and a half, folks. If you saw it, you know it was an hour and a half of fun. Again, my apologies. I somehow left that chart up, and hopefully you all could tell me. Those that were on, would you please tell me if the airport seemed to be where it was supposed to? Because about an 800 foot a minute descent should have put us in here. Well, Mac Air is very, very forgiving. They gave us 378 feet a minute, folks. That's the one nice thing about smart cars. It automatically files your report. Oops. So, you know, you don't have to go back. And like sometimes when I start doing these, you know, reviews, oh man, it's a nightmare because I forgot to, wait a minute, wrong one. I'm just making sure, being a new system, I'm always wanting to make sure, uh-oh, rejected. Oh yeah, that's right. No, this one was not. Okay, approval pending. Oh my gosh. All right, we're on the ground here in Paro, folks. And as you can see, everything's starting to come to the plane. Scenery isn't all that great, I'll give it to you. I really want to try to compare this to the chart. I'm going to take one more break, and I offer it to you all as well. I got to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. All right, folks. I was wondering if it was going to call hot brakes on me. All right, we're not chalk, so I can't do anything. All right, folks. Well, we're in commercial break. Subscribers, thank you bearing with me and all through this. Wow. I'm doing a little chart review here. So I am going to bring that up here in a minute. As soon as we come out of break here in about 30 seconds. But hope you all enjoyed. We may have to fly this a few more times to get used to it. But I want to check a couple things. Okay, missed approach at DA. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, guys, those of you familiar with these charts, now I know this is a special approach. I get it. We're 9 miles from PR 816, our mandatory 13.8. We got to get down to item 1, PR 808, which will be over here, which is actually out on the runway. I don't see, do you all see an item 1? So it could be over here. I'm looking for it. All right. So a lot of questions to real world pilots who fly this 9 miles, 2,000 feet. You really got to be descending, don't you? Even in my feeble private pilot mind. I mean, you're going 9 miles from 13,008 down to minimums. Mind you, the airport. Wait a minute, you're going much further than just 2,000 feet. This may be positioned correctly. Could somebody, you know what? I got a feeling this approach at DA. What the heck is that? Is that there? Then you've missed the runway. Airport is 73.6. Folks, you're dropping 6,000 feet in 9 miles. Woo. You are definitely not doing 800 feet a minute. All right, those of you good with math, I need help. What would I be doing? For 9 miles and 3.5 degrees, okay, so we see where part of the problem is, and I know I didn't bring the chart up because I'm sure y'all are sick of seeing it. Here's where my dilemma's coming in, folks. Again, I'm not a commercial airline rated pilot, but from this point, which is 13.8, through all of this is 9 miles to 74 or 70, yeah, 7,400 feet. Plus that little zigzag at the end, which I don't know if it's as pronounced. That is, All right, so there's my question. What is the actual feet per minute I should have sat? Because obviously I was way off. All right, enough of that, folks. That's just analyzing it here. All right, that is why we had the missed approach. Because what I was doing, okay, I departed here, set up as the numbers down here as I thought I was reading. Missed approach at DA, doesn't say, 800 feet a minute. There is no way you'll make that runway at 800 feet a minute. Thoroughly confused on here. I defer to you all. So, and we got a whole year to learn it. No. All right, enough of the chart. Wow, what an airport, isn't it, folks? I mean, Laminar, I think the airport is in the right place. The pilot is not. So let's take a look at Sim Toolkit. As you can see, it gave me 569 feet a minute at 153 knots, well over landing speed. Let's just do this. Compute. 129 was our approach, and well, it's already cleared out. So you're looking at about 125, 124. We're about 30 knots fast, and we knew that. Dang, we really need to find a good video. I'm going to try and find a good video, put it up at my Discord channel, and we all can look at this and see how this is flown by, we'll call them professionals. All right, so the flight has been logged. So once you either yourself log it or it self-logs, as it did here, click on it. You can see our really weird missed approach because it wouldn't fly it, and I don't know why. Get that at 2. Really don't know why it didn't continue like it was supposed to. All right, so let's view details. Hour and 20 minutes, 217 miles, just under 3,000 kilos of fuel. 1.45 Gs, folks. I did eke it that way, but hit a little punch into the runway at 570 feet a minute. 153 knots. Full reverse. Yes, Southwest would have been proud of me. Oof, ugly looking landing. Rightly so, folks, rightly so, considering how fast we were on it. Right, here's that hill, so it is there. Now, in X-Plane 11, you can actually cut the corner a little better than we could have. You actually, just so you get an idea of this approach, yeah, you're flying this river valley towards this monastery, and then you turn for the runway through here to line up, okay? And then you land, preferably here, but you know, I showed it could be done. Only in the sim. All right, so anyway, the numbers are as they are. We landed 2,600 feet down the runway, almost 53 feet to the right. We were almost off the runway. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for the extended ramp here, we would have been on the grass. Runway's 7,500 feet, just under 100 feet wide, so 52 feet, folks. A little too far. All joking aside, folks, I am not going to say this was a good landing. Great attempt. Hey, I did it in 2. Last time it took 6 with 3 to 4 crashes to get it done. All right, and we almost upped it here because you saw the ToLiss swerve. You got to be real careful with it and brakes, because as soon as you get that stick too far, it wants to go hard to that way. So you got to really pay attention. Unfortunately, we're not like the real plane where the rudder is the foot pedals, the tiller is the nose gear. It's all in one here, folks. At least on mine. You may have a system where you don't, and I do know one that does not have it that like mine, where it's all in one. Okay, so we'll call it a fairly decent flight. How about that? Okay, I am going to button the airplane up because I don't know if ToLiss does that automatically. Zebo does. Close. Close. Okay, they're already away. All right, folks. We really want to look at it? Yeah, we need to learn. We need to learn, yes, another go around was needed, but let's go use the tool. Oh yeah, and if you don't disconnect from the VATSIM or whatever network with XPilot, it does it for you automatically. Hang on, I'm getting rid of some things here. All right, I am going to see if we can't rewind. It's going to take a little bit. All right, we'll just let it take it from here. And I'm going to show you some of the drasticness of this.
Terrain, terrain,
200,
terrain, terrain,
500,
terrain, 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 terrain,
1000,
terrain, 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 terrain,
minimum,
terrain, 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 terrain.
All right,
Terrain.
let's fly it from here. I'm going to run some music in the background. Hang on, we're going to pause it. It's appropriate. Kind of run it in the background. Look at my descent rate. Hence why we were speeding up. I really don't think they look like that coming in. That's what we had to clear. Okay, here it's gonna get ugly. Okay, I'm gonna pause it one more time. I want to look at something. Okay, it really is looking like that is what happened. I was way too under it. I mean, way up. At this point, I could already see the airport knew there was no way. And here's where I should have turned for the runway quicker. You see how this is? I think the slope starts a little more over here, and that's why I'm way off. But I should have. Long landing. See, there's where the Toliss came. I think where I really messed up, I couldn't get her slowed. And we're way high here. And we should have been turning quicker. In essence, hugging that hill and down a lot lower. I think I let it stay at minimums too long. Hence the rudder and all trying to kick it over quicker.
Terrain.
500.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
400.
Actually, things were looking good if I just wasn't so doggone fast.
Pull up.
200.
Pull up. Terrain.
Now we're
terrain,
right at my speed set.
Terrain. Terrain.
50. 40.
Terrain.
30. 20. Retard. 10. 5. Six. 1,000.
Yeah, I'm really high. Although really trying hard and I overcorrect. Oh, we went below the runway. All right. Well, folks, definitely an interesting ride. Just curious with the wingtip. Oh, we're fine with it. Okay. All right, folks, we're going to look at it one more way, and it isn't going to help it at all. Usually, as Melvin Leroy would say, the tower view helps. It's going to just make it look worse. The landing zone was there. We were pretty decent. All right, folks. Well, you see it. You saw it. Interesting, interesting indeed. The good thing is, you know, we're going to have to find real-world data to see exactly how on 1.5. I watched it, by the way, on nav charts, which you could. And yeah, you've got 9 miles to drop 6,000 feet. I'd like to know how they do it. Coming in the other way, because this is supposed to be for both runways. Maybe not. But anyway, yeah, wow. That's all I got to say on this approach, folks. Wow. That's the only words that come to mind. Let's go ahead. I'm going to just do it the easy way. All right, as you can see, they're beginning to attack the aircraft. Let's just give you a bullseye view. And you can see how they do what they do. It's really great animation. Be able to put the feet down to stabilize, open the, you know, it's just really well done. To me, animation. Just the problem is they drive through their equipment. But hey, can't have everything. Folks, this was a great flight. Only took 2 attempts to get in here, and boy, look at that. If you let me pull this up for you, something we did make mention of. See that minimum safe altitude, 26,300. a sectional seat. Yeah, I'll buy into it. Actually, they're saying 24, 19, and 16. You know, folks, the IFR chart wins all the time. 26.3. So if we were to look that way, yeah, that's what we had to contend with all the way down that channel. All right, folks, well, that's going to be a wrap. I want to thank you all for being a part of Flying with Mike. Thank you, Hawker, for the moderation. And thank you. We did hear from Mr. Rendon. And why am I not remembering the other? I really hate it when my memory fails me this badly. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us. I hope you all have a great weekend. Remember, folks, one weekend to go to Christmas. Now, granted, you have next weekend too. But realize Christmas Eve is Sunday next week. So, truly, you have one weekend left. So, but for those procrastinators, make it two. So, you all have a fantastic weekend. I gotta work tomorrow. And Monday, we'll be back in the sky with the Queen on more tranquil of type approaches into Miami from St. Martin. So, for now, you all have a grand weekend. We'll see you then. God bless you all, and I want to leave you with something I found on Facebook today. Give me a second to pull it up. I thought I had it, and I did not have it quickly in front of me. It's an interesting little Facebook, whatever you want to call it, article post. However your mind works with it. And I just clicked in the wrong one. I don't know truly who started this, but I want you to listen to this. A rattlesnake bit one of this individual's sheep in the face about a week ago. It's one of the deadly, and if you're not familiar, folks, rattlesnakes in the United States are one of the most deadliest snakes in our area. I know y'all have much more venomous, deadly snakes elsewhere, especially in this kind of region. The sheep's face swelled up and hurt her terribly. But the old rattlesnake didn't know the kind of blood that flows through the sheep. Anti-venom that is used worldwide most often is made from a sheep's blood. The sheep swelled for about 2 days, but the blood of the lamb destroyed the venom of the serpent. The writer goes on to say he was worried, but the sheep didn't care. She kept on eating, kept on drinking, kept on climbing, because she knew she was all right. So folks, there's a little moral in this story. Don't worry about the serpent or his bite. Let me rephrase that. Don't worry about Satan or Satan's bite on you. Just make sure that you have the lamb's blood flowing through your vein, that being the blood of Jesus Christ. It's a great little story here. Again, the author of it's unknown, but you know, I thought it was appropriate, especially at Christmas. Make sure that you have given your life to Christ so that you have that blood of the Lamb who died for your sins flowing through your veins. Again, have a great weekend, folks. God bless you all. Christ is the reason for the season. All right, folks, I'm going to hand the stream over to XP Aviator. He's in Microsoft Flight Sim. God bless you all. Have a great day. We'll see